Welcome to Vskills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for Angular 7. So, let's get started. Question number 1. What do you know about the Angular framework? The answer is: Angular is a platform and framework for building single-page client applications using HTML and TypeScript. Angular is written in TypeScript. It implements core and optional functionality as a set of TypeScript libraries that you import into your applications. Question number 2. Differentiate between structural directive and attribute directive in Angular 7? The answer is: Structural directives are used for altering the document object model layout by removing and adding document object model elements. These directives are better in changing the structure of the view. Examples of structural directives are ngFor and ngF, whereas attribute directives are used as characteristics of elements. For example, a directive such as built-in ngStyle in the template syntax guide is an attribute directive. Question number 3. What are the major elements of Angular? The answer is: Major elements of Angular include: First, components. These are the basic building blocks of Angular applications and are used to control HTML views. Second, modules. They refer to the set of Angular basic building blocks like components, directives, services and more. An application is divided into logical pieces and each piece of code is called a module and used to perform a single task. Third, templates. These are used for representing the views of an Angular application. Fourth, services. It is used for creating components that can be shared over the entire application. Fifth, metadata. This can be used for adding more data to an Angular class. Question number 4. What do you mean by the term pipes? The answer is: A pipe takes in data as input and transforms it to the desired output. Moreover, you can chain pipes together in potentially useful combinations and write your custom pipes. Angular comes with a stock of pipes such as date pipe, uppercase pipe, lowercase pipe, currency pipe, and percent pipe. Question number 5. What is an observable? The answer is: An observable can be defined as a unique object similar to a promise that can help in managing an async code. Observables are not part of the JavaScript language, so we have to rely on a popular observable library called RxJS. Question number 6. What is the utility functions provided by RxJS? The answer is: The RxJS library also provides utility functions for creating and working with observables. Firstly, transforming existing code for async operations into observables. Secondly, iterating via the values in a stream. Thirdly, mapping values to different types. Then, filtering streams. Lastly, composing multiple streams. Question number 7. What is AOT in Angular? The answer is: AOT in Angular refers to an ahead-of-time compiler. AOT converts Angular HTML and TypeScript into JavaScript during the build phase before the web browser downloads and runs that code. Earlier, Angular used the JIT compiler, which ran after the application is bootstrapped in the web browser. AOT did code analysis, generated code in memory. With AOT, Angular apps reduce the requirement for change detection, or dependency injection during runtime. Question number 8. How can we control AOT compilation? The answer is: we can control your app compilation in 2 ways. Firstly, by providing template compiler options in the tsconfig.json file. Secondly, by configuring Angular metadata with decorators. Question number 9. What is Angular Material? The answer is: Angular Material is a UI component library. Angular Material helps in creating attractive, consistent, and fully functional web pages as well as web applications. It does so while following modern web design principles, including browser portability and graceful degradation. Question number 10. What is AOT compilation and its advantages? The answer is: Every Angular application consists of components and templates which the browser cannot understand. Therefore, all the Angular applications need to be compiled first before running inside the browser. Angular provides 2 types of compilation. First, JIT, just-in-time, compilation. Second, AOT, ahead-of-time, compilation. Question number 11. What is a cross-platform mobile app development? The answer is: The term cross-platform mobile app development or hybrid mobile app development speaks for itself. This is an approach that allows developers to build a mobile solution that is simultaneously compatible with several operating systems and platforms: Android, iOS, Windows. Question number 12, what do you understand by code splitting? The answer is: with the new component router, Angular apps load quickly. The component router offers automatic code splitting so that only the code required to render the view that is requested by a user is loaded. Question number 13, what is activated route? The answer is: activated route consists of the information related to a route linked with a component loaded in an outlet. It can also be used for traversing the router state tree. Further, the activated route will be injected as a router service for accessing the information. Question number 14, what is the use of Angular 7? The answer is: the use of Angular 7 is widespread. Angular 7 is used by software development companies for developing websites and web applications for their clients. Angular 7 is used for developing dynamic web applications like single-page applications or SPA. Many organizations are also using Angular 7 to manage their web-facing applications as it supports data binding, reusable components, form validation, and dependency injection. Question number 15, what do you understand by view model? The answer is: view model is an abstract layer of the application and acts as a bridge between the view and model business logic. It does not have any clue which view has to use it, as it does not have a direct reference to the view. View and view model are connected with data binding, so any change in the view model takes note and changes the data inside the model. It interacts with the model and exposes the observable that can be observed by the view. Question number 16, how will you create a decorator in Angular? The answer is: primarily there are two ways to register decorators in Angular. First, provide.decorator, and second is module.decorator. Question number 17, how do you differentiate between structural and attribute directives in Angular? The answer is: the structural directives are used to alter the DOM layout by removing and adding DOM elements. This is far better in changing the structure of a view. Some of the examples of structural directives are ng-for and nglf, whereas the attribute directives are being used as characteristics of elements. For instance, a directive such as built-in ng-style in the template syntax guide is an attribute directive. Question number 18, what do you understand by Ivy Renderer? The answer is: Ivy is Angular's upcoming new rendering pipeline and view engine. Angular View Engine takes the templates and components we've written and translates them into regular HTML and JavaScript that the browser can read and display. Ivy is the next generation of Angular renderer. Question number 19, what do you understand by Bizzle? The answer is: Bizzle refers to a test tool just like the Make, Maven and Gradle, such that it is an open source build. Bizzle primarily utilizes readable and high-level build language. Bizzle handles the project in a great number of languages and builds the product for a large number of platforms. Also, it supports multiple users and large code bases over several repositories. Question number 20, what do you understand by testbed? The answer is: Angular Testbed, ATB, is a higher-level Angular-only testing framework that allows us to easily test behaviors that depend on the Angular framework. We still write our tests in Jasmine and run using Karma, but we now have a slightly easier way to create components, handle injection, test asynchronous behavior and interact with our application. The testbed creates a dynamically constructed Angular test module that emulates an Angular. Question number 21, what do you understand by Redux? The answer is: Redux refers to a way to manage the application state and improve the maintainability of asynchronicity in the application by providing a single source of truth for the application state, and a unidirectional flow of data changes in the application. ng or rx or store is one implementation of Redux principles. Question number 22, what are the new features of Angular 7? The answer is: Angular has recently released its newer version Angular 7, and with this version, we got several updated as well as the new features, and these are listed below. CLI prompt, Angular elements, virtual scrolling, drag and drop, setting budgets, checking bundle size. Question number 23, what do you understand by Angular CLI? The answer is: Angular command line interface is a command line tool that is used to create, initialize, scaffold and manage the whole Angular application. We can therefore use the Angular console tool to work with the command line to generate or work with different parts of the Angular application. Using CLI we can manage everything using commands. Question number 24, what do you understand by Angular console? The answer is: Angular CLI is defined as a powerful tool to develop an Angular application without following complex stuff. Angular Console is a way to achieve different command line features using a simple GUI, which is a completely alternative to know all of the CLI commands. To download the GUI tool, you can get the executable file from here. And after downloading the tool, it will look like this. Question number 25. How can you specify the type of style sheet using the command? The answer is Angular 7 offers the CLI prompt where we can choose style sheet type from the available option, but for an older version, CSS was the default format for styling the pages. Therefore can use additional flag style to specify any other supported style sheet type than CSS. Question number 26. What is the template expression? The answer is a template expression produces a value and appears within double curly braces. Angular resolves the expression and assigns it to a property of a binding target. The target could be an HTML element, a component, or a directive. Question number 27. What do you mean by data binding in Angular? The answer is data binding is considered as one of the important core concepts which are used to do the communication between the component and DOM. Data binding is a way to add or push elements into HTML DOM or pop the different elements based on the instructions given by the component. Various types of data binding support to achieve the data bindings in Angular are: first, one-way binding, interpolation, attribute, property, class, style. Second, event binding. Third, two-way binding. Question number 28. What do you mean by directive in Angular? The answer is we can define directive in Angular as a class with a decorator, and a directive must modify the JavaScript classes. We can also say that it provides metadata to the class. Generally, the decorator changes the DOM whenever any kind of action happens, and it also appears within the element tag. The component is also a directive with the template attached to it, and it has template-oriented features. The directive in Angular can be classified as: first, component directive; second, structural directive; third, attribute directive. Question number 29. What do you understand by module in Angular? The answer is module in Angular is considered as a very important part of the application, used to organize our Angular app into a distributive manner, such that each Angular application must have one parent module which is called an app module, and it contains the list of different items that are components, service providers, custom modules, routing modules, and pipes. Question number 30. What do you understand by XMB? The answer is XMB is a key-value pair with no deeper structure. It has a mechanism for named placeholders, with descriptions and examples. The messages for any given other language must have corresponded. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.